One particular piece of criticism that we've gotten, the idea is that the Last Hero of Nostalgaia is somewhat derivative, which is a really funny thing to hear because, of course, the answer to that is yeah. You say that you're going to create something innovative, and on some level, I kind of feel like saying, how dare you? Do you know what you're making? I want to know if this is interesting to you. I want to know if you felt this. Hello, Internet. It's me, John, from Over the Moon Games. I'm the director of the Last Hero of Nostalgaia. You're here with me in my office slash bedroom. In fact, I didn't even make the bed today. So this is a little bit more off the cuff and not scripted. Reception of Nostalgaia seems to be pretty darn good. I'm super grateful for all the positivity that we've gotten. People telling me that they're having fun. It's been absolutely a blast to watch. We've also gotten some criticism, which is also equally wonderful from a different perspective, a different sort of way. One particular piece of criticism that we've gotten, which is really interesting to me because it kind of drives me insane and has really caused me to think a little bit. That's why I wanted to get my thoughts together and talk about the project today, was that the idea is that the Last Hero of Nostalgaia is somewhat derivative, which is a really funny thing to hear because, of course, the answer to that is yeah. I suspect that people that say that might not actually know what they're saying. So, and that really gets me into what the main goals of the project actually were, which I thought would be a fun thing to talk about today. So, as a consumer, I love the Souls-like series, all of them. I think they're a lot of fun. And I've been frustrated because I've been looking for Souls-like to play that has that same feel, not just in the combat, but the world and all the rest of it. And I've been entirely dissatisfied. I thought that most of the games don't get the game feel right in terms of the mechanics. The world just feels boring. There's just lots of problems with them. They're kind of mediocre. And this is the thing that kind of has been driving me more and more crazy lately, not just with games, but with everything. People are trying to put their mark on whatever it is that they do, whether it's video games or whatever. And the problem with that is that if they don't understand what they're doing, they're just wasting their time and they're going to make a confusing piece of shit. And I don't mean to be rude or insulting to my contemporaries who are making Souls-like, because I'm sure that I could learn a lot from them. And I don't want to be unkind or cruel, but a lot of the time that's what I see. It's not clear what a Souls-like is, you see. What is a Souls-like? Is it a game with bonfires? Well, no. I mean, actually, even the bonfire system is kind of dependent on this highly refined, high-risk combat system, because without that, the jaunts between the bonfires aren't as engaging, because you're not in this tense, high-risk, balanced on the edge of a knife gameplay system. And as I mentioned, this is a thing that doesn't just affect the video game industry. So, for example, I'll go into a restaurant, I'll get a hamburger, let's say. If it's really well cooked and well prepared, it'll be excellent. It'll be good. But if I go to like a fancy place, what I'll get this revolutionary thing that's made out of 4 different pieces of meat that have been ground by hand and assembled into this immaculate patty. And the truth of the matter is it won't be that good because the fundamentals aren't correct. And the cook didn't get the fundamentals correct because they were too busy in a fantasy trying to figure out how they could revolutionize the hamburger and reinvent the wheel. And in my opinion, that's what I'm seeing with a lot of indie Souls-likes. You say that you're going to create something innovative, and on some level, I kind of feel like saying, how dare you? Do you know what you're making? FromSoft has been making these games forever now. Why do they work? What are they? Why do they play the way they do? Do you know? Does anybody know? I just made one. I'm not sure that I can tell you exactly what the answer to that question is. So, the Last Hero of Nostalgaia came out of this place where I was frustrated because I feel like I wasn't getting served. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going conservative in this context. I'm going to understand what these games are and how they work, and I'm going to make one that actually feels right, because I don't think that other people are doing that. And I think that in this case, it's actually, the project is about that in so many more ways. So, for example, really what the project is a love letter to Dark Souls. Like, there's this beautiful feeling in Dark Souls of exploring this dead world where there's something expected of you, but it's not clear what it is, and there's a tradition that you belong to, there's something you're supposed to do, but you don't know any of it. And what you do is you uncover bits of the past in these little, item descriptions, right? And you kind of slowly uncover meaning that way. You kind of slowly come to understand your sense of where you belong in the world and that kind of stuff. And I think that's such a beautiful idea. It's so wonderful because because we're all doing that, you know, like you're born into your civilization, you don't understand why you're told what you're told, or what's expected of you, and you have to come to know that for yourself. And just like in Dark Souls, the fire fades, that life behind the civilization is faded. The rules that are given to you are given to you by people who didn't fully understand them either, and you as a maturing adult have to make your own decisions about whether or not you want to keep them, right? And in Dark Souls, that's that metaphor of rekindling the first flame. Are you going to rekindle it, or are you going to let it fade? And anyway, I could go on and on about it. There's a lot of these really beautiful ideas in Dark Souls. So what we tried to do is we tried to basically take that process and really bring it into the game in like a holistic way. So like in Dark Souls case, for example, I think the process I described is there, but I don't think it's clear. Like if you play Dark Souls, I don't expect that you feel like you got that. Like maybe you did, that'd be wonderful. But the lore system is almost impossible to understand. You need a fucking conspiracy board to figure it out, and that's such a shame, because it means that people aren't actually engaging with this wonderful substance. The result is that you get this gameplay experience that in some way is disintegrated. The lore doesn't matter. And that's a big problem with video games these days, is all the different elements are disintegrated. You don't actually have to engage with them. In my opinion, this is the most exciting thing that we can possibly do as game developers. Because, I mean, like, look at it, consider an orchestra, right? You have a whole bunch of pieces, but when you add them together, they're more than the sum of their parts. And in film, well, film is an incredibly mature medium, and you're starting to see beautiful works of art in film where everything is just so rich and holistically integrated, and they're just excellent at putting together these pieces with this beautiful, concise visual language. And in games, I don't think we've gotten there yet. Because, for example, stuff like Dark Souls, where it's like these lore finding elements, they don't matter. You don't have to engage with them. They don't improve the gameplay really in any substantial way. And they're not really tied to the player story in terms of the plot and the sequence of narrative events that the player is going through, which is too bad. So what we did is we tried to take that doing this, put it at the central core of the game with this sort of item remember mechanic that we have, and then build a story around that and create this, ideally, this holistic experience of like uncovering value from the past and uplifting it. Anyway, the point of all of that is the reason that I'm sort of not sure what to think about this feedback, this negative feedback that we're derivative of Dark Souls, because just the attempt to take elements that already exist, like if we contributed literally nothing to the genre and we just tried to take elements that exist and just put them in something like an immaculate order, in my opinion, not only is that a contribution to video games in general, but that is like literally the most important thing that we should be doing at all in video games in the entire industry. I mean, it's so impoverished to think about game design in terms of like this game is going to be a good game because why? Because we're going to add like a new swing mechanic, or you know, when you swing this weapon, it's so heavy it carries your body over to the right, or something like that. And that's fun. I'm not saying that developers shouldn't be doing that, but is that really what this industry has been reduced to? Where it's like that's the sense of innovation, really? So as you could see, it triggers me a little bit, and I don't know how Nostalgaia is going to do ultimately. Like I said, all the response has been very positive, and I'm absolutely delighted by that. And also, I don't know ultimately if what I'm describing is something that anybody actually gives a shit about. But I thought that it would be worth it to make this video for the fans of the game, to say thank you. And I want to know if this is interesting to you. I want to know if you felt this. And I want to know if this is something that we should be doing more in the future and trying to do better. So let me know. And I think I'll leave it there. Thanks very much.